go to the extreme end of this spectrum, of the consumer spectrum, and therefore the product spectrum. And that is the lower end of the market, which is still forming the bulk in terms of volumes, isn't it? When it came to this end of the market, the dual SIM card phone was a game changer. And that is where you have admitted in interviews and in conversations that it was a mistake, that Nokia did not cotton onto it. Now, I want to understand why this is. I want you to analyze it for me. Is it that you all did not expect that price war that we saw between all the operators and the consequent wanting to have that many subscriptions? Did you not expect it to happen because there's no international precedence? I want to understand, because nobody knows the market better than you guys do.
Yeah, no, I think we saw it coming. I think the early signals we picked more than 3 years ago.
So then?
And we didn't even say dual SIM, we actually talked of triple SIM. You know, we could see it coming. Technology is global in nature, especially in this category. Okay, no one country can give you sufficient volume to build your own variant. Okay, this is not footwear or clothes or something that you can have small runs, etc. And the world has two business models. There's an operator-led business model and there is an open distribution business model. So because of 17 operators, because of the price war between the operators, okay, led to the concept of the dual SIM. It was not seen in most other places. Okay, and doing a dual SIM phone for an operator buying anywhere else in the world would be absolutely, waving a red flag. So I think it's a host of factors. Okay, nothing to do with not reading the market or not seeing the consumer. Nothing to do with it.
But when in hindsight, because now you are in the dual SIM card space and you have lots of launches, I believe, in that space and doing well because of innovations that you all are offering. Sure. Why then this hesitation? So if you all read the market right and you were talking about triple SIM card phones, was that not wanting to destabilize the operators? I'm trying to understand why the market leader did not get this. And you admit it's a mistake. So I'm sure you've done a lot of soul searching about it. I really want you to explain to us why.
As I mentioned, these technologies are all global in nature. Many customers are global in nature. So when you decide to move an architecture of a phone fundamentally from a single SIM to a dual SIM, then there are many more stakeholders involved. Okay, and all stakeholders were not aligned in seeing the opportunity the way it unfolded. Okay, India took off in dual SIM today. A lot of the market is dual SIM. A lot of Africa is taking off in dual SIM. Pakistan's done well. You go to Australia, dual SIM is banned. You cannot work it there. Okay, I think there is some bite in some of the European markets.
But if India is the second largest market for Nokia,
that's why we have the best range of dual SIM now.
881 million consumers. I mean, you know the numbers. For me, they're just a blur now. I still think that internally, share with us what do you all see this as? A lot of catching up to do, or better late than never? How is it being perceived internally?
In this category, I always mention this is a hyper innovative category. Even if you are catching up, you need to put the next step in terms of leading. That's exactly what we've done with dual SIM. Like, we recognize that consumers have 5 cards, 6 cards, some of the young guys. And their biggest pain point was removing the battery and putting the dual SIMs below the battery. So we come with an easy swap facility where you just shuffle the cards. Okay, so that's a simple innovation but very relevant innovation. Second, when you're using 5 SIM cards, you never know which card you're using. So each of the 5 SIM cards have separate identities on a Nokia phone. So they have separate ringtones, so you know which one is being used. Simple innovation. Then we pulled apart, dual SIM is virtually, most people treat it like a commodity. But then we said, okay, here's dual SIM which gets you the access to the internet the best. Here's a dual SIM phone with the best music capacity. Here's the dual SIM phone with the best value capacity.
So you're saying coming late to the party in this case doesn't mean that you've missed out on the banquet?
I go back. I think it's important to lead, there's no doubt about it. But every time you're catching up, you have to set the new benchmark.
Right.
And you have to catch up very quickly.
Right.
Okay, so in this industry, if there are 10 innovations out there, most good players like Nokia will get about 6, 7 right. You will not get all 10 right. But you need to catch up in the others very quickly. That's what I would say.
There's another interesting thing that happened in the past year or 2 years, and something else that's happening now, which is that the guys who came and made giants like you sit up and say, hey, the dual SIM card needs to be done now. We've seen it and we were holding back, but now let's just do it. The Carbons, the Spice, all those, what have you, Micromax, all of them, they went out there and advertised and marketed. in a huge way. We saw the results in terms of market share also. And yet in 2012, as we start off 2012, things seem to be different there again. Their market shares don't seem to be the same as they were last year. And they've definitely pulled back on their advertising and marketing. Help us understand that.
Two, three things in India. First, price alone doesn't work. Okay, full marks to them. They saw a window of dual SIM opportunity. They all jumped in. Good. A lot of the advertising which was used to build trade brands and not consumer brands. Consumer advertising and building a consumer brand is a very different game. In India, if you notice, a lot of people get onto the television bandwagon because that helps them get distribution, that helps them get distributors, and people say, okay, they're advertising, they must be okay. Okay, so third, if you don't innovate, you can come into the first one, you can see an opportunity. If you don't innovate, you don't move up the value chain, you'll never survive. In the end, this is a scale game, this is a brand game, this is an innovation game. And that very few people can play. If you want to be innovative in this category, you need budgets in R&D of billions of dollars. You're not here for the short term, billions of dollars. You need to have partnerships in the ecosystem where you're partnering with respected brands. You know, you can't take horizontal platforms, rip it off and say, I'll build a brand. It doesn't work that easily.
Okay. You just mentioned three things that are very important to success in this industry: innovation, scale, and brand. On those three parameters, where would you say Nokia is positioned today globally?
If you look at any study of corporations, you look at on strength of brand, on innovation, and on supply chain management, because it's a very complex supply chain. On all those three, there are only two companies with score in the top 15 or top 10. One is Nokia, the other is Apple. No other company has all three assets in the top 10 in the world. Okay, so we have an extremely strong brand. People still love the brand. They trust the brand immensely, and that's been one of the proudest parts of my career to work with this brand. Second is scale. We're still the largest across the world. Okay, so there's no doubt about that. We have to get larger in smart devices. Okay. Third is innovation. We've missed innovation. Okay, and you have to catch up with innovation. Okay, if you are a great brand, you have great scale and miss innovation, that's not good for the brand health. Okay, so we've caught up with the innovation we lost in terms of dual SIM. We've caught up with the innovation we've lost in terms of smart devices and Lumia. So I think on two of the three, I would still rate as very high. And innovation, I think we've ratcheted it up, and you'll see more of it in the future.
And what about leadership in innovation? Because the catch up and catching up well is happening, as you say emphatically. What about leadership?
That's a good point, and you have to be consistently innovative to have thought leadership. Okay, yeah, you can have one or two innovations, doesn't change the matter. You have to be consistently innovative, and that's where I think the thought leadership will come back with consistent innovation, which you will see from Nokia.
You're speaking to me today, and you're going to be in Dubai the same week, right? 3 hours away. What is the new role, and what happens to India? I know India is still a region, still falls within the region that you're going to be responsible for. But does someone come into your place in India, or do you manage to make time for Nokia's second largest market and the other 80, 90 countries that have been added on to your roster?
No, I think we will have somebody replacing me. We are currently in the process. That's a definite yes. India and Africa have a lot of similarities in that sense. Okay, maybe Africa in some cases is a little behind, and in some cases is very much ahead. For example, in the whole concept of monetizing airtime, Africa is far ahead. People exchange airtime for cash. Okay, in terms of mobile money, they're far ahead. In terms of some of the services on health, they're far ahead. Some of the education things, they're far ahead. But I think India will also, definitely get there. Roughly 1 billion plus people in both places. Okay, per capita incomes roughly similar, $1,200, $1,100. If average age in India today is 26, average age in Africa is 23. Okay, ARPU roughly similar. So there are lots of commonalities between the markets, and in technology terms, I think they are roughly on the same gradient.
Part of the curve.
Absolutely.
So you're looking forward to it, I'm guessing.
Yes, and it's always good to visit new countries because you learn so much. As I always say, an expat is a single culture expert. But if you truly want to be a global manager, then you really have to assimilate the various cultural nuances in the countries, and that's what makes you truly a good global manager.
Shiv, another global manager from India goes out there. We wish you all the best, and here's looking forward to some great stuff. Thank you.